Hey guys, it's Holly. So I have yet another early Star Wars review to you today, as we're going to be taking a look at the brand new LEGO Star Wars Probe Droid, which for some reason is a part of the helmet series, which to me doesn't make any sense. Like, does that make sense to you guys? Because I really don't get why this gets to be a part of it, because it's not a helmet, it's a droid. But then again, it also doesn't come with a figure like the rest of the droids. Anyway, so this is set 75306 and has 683 pieces, and this one retails for $60 US, and for some reason it retails for 120 Australian. I've kind of spoken about this briefly before, but like the prices of this stuff in Australian dollars is ridiculous. Why this is $30 more than Darth Vader but has 200 less pieces and a smaller box, I genuinely don't get it. But besides the point, here's the Probe Droid. Now, to be completely honest, this is the one I was least looking forward to. The Probe Droid doesn't really speak that much to me. I also know there's been a lot of kind of talk about the color of the droid, whether or not it should be black or if dark gray was the right decision. But before we do, LEGO did send this to me to review as being a part of LAN, but it doesn't change any of my opinions on the set. So let's have a look at this, because I'm interested to see what this thing's actually like. So here is the Imperial Probe Droid, and look, it's definitely not a great set. There are definitely things that I like about this set, but overall, I think it's pretty flimsy, really weak, and just not as great as I kind of expected it to be. It looks really good kind of on display in all of the photos, but as you can see, like this arm is just, it's so flimsy. These hinge joints are falling everywhere. Like I can't pose and position it like I kind of expected to looking at the box. So in general, my favorite thing about this is definitely the way that the base is actually made. I love how it's built up on this snowy base and made to look kind of rocky, and I love all of these kind of smooth tiled off pieces, including some of these angle pieces on the plaque itself. I think that whole section kind of here looks really nice and really well detailed. I love how it kind of blends in and things like that, and you really get the sense of Hoth. I love it. I like that. The only part I don't like about this base is the actual stand that it's on. This entire clear pillar isn't actually connected via studs. There is a tile in here, which means you can't actually stick the Probe Droid in. How you can see that's kind of tiled off, which really frustrates me because it means this thing's like more prone to wobbling around. Another thing with the base of this is because there is so much weight on the right side, this entire left-hand side kind of lifts up. As you can see, it's kind of raised up off of the floor, and that's purely because there's just not enough weight on this section to actually keep it down and keep it level, so it's all kind of floating up, whereas this side, it's a lot more heavier, so it's all grounded and kind of level with the floor. I've also knocked off this slope piece here, so it is quite flimsy, which honestly matches the rest of the build. But my main problem with this set is the Probe Droid itself. The build of this, while it looks pretty and like looks really nice, pretty accurate as well, it's so flimsy and difficult. I had a really hard time building this and even maneuvering it around and kind of trying to pose it as well. It's so flimsy and weak that I just cannot recommend this set. Now, before I kind of go into detail about that, let's talk about the kind of design of the Probe Droid itself. So I know a lot of people have been talking about the color of this. Now, looking at a lot of photos from Empire Strikes Back, it's iffy on the color. Ideally, I feel like LEGO needs to create some sort of color between this dark bluish gray and black. I feel like that would benefit a lot of minifigures as well as sets like this, where it's not dark enough to be black, but it's too light to be dark bluish gray. I think out of the options and colors that we do have, I definitely think dark bluish gray is a lot closer to the actual design of the Probe Droid, but ideally it needs to sit somewhere in the middle, especially when you put this up against kind of the brick built kind of regular minifigure scale Probe Droids, and they're all black. It seems really weird to go for more of a UCS kind of larger scale version of this being dark bluish gray. It doesn't quite match up really well. I really like the top part of this design, this entire section up here. It was very hard to build though. I did struggle to build that entire top section. There was a lot of details, a lot of small parts, and a lot of flimsy elements that it just made it really hard to kind of get together. In particular, there is like one piece over here, especially on these parts here and over here. I did struggle with that quite a bit. There's just a lot of kind of intricate small small pieces and different angles and things like that. And it was kind of hard for me to read the instructions. They did outline all of the pieces where you're supposed to place it to make it easier. So it wasn't all that bad, but it wasn't the easiest thing in the world either. Also, there are 2 stickers at the top. You do get one there on a sloped piece and one on the opposite side as well. These stickers do look roughly the same, but they are slightly different. And because they are on sloped pieces, it is pretty easy to apply. And unlike the Scout Trooper, the color is a bit closer. However, when you do look up close, you can see a bit of color variation between the sticker and the actual piece, which is really frustrating on sets like these, especially since this one is quite expensive. I really wish these pieces were printed, since there only is 4 of those kind of stickers. I feel like it wouldn't have been too bad to make the slope pieces printed. I definitely think the plaque should have stayed a sticker though, like most other sets. Now this center console of the droid is really well done. I love how they've used these kind of new slope pieces. I love this piece in general, so it's great to see some use there. This entire middle section was really easy to build. It was definitely the most enjoyable part, although I did get kind of confused as there is a bit of variation kind of in the design of the probe droid with all of these side pieces. I did get confused to like which side I was actually supposed to be doing it on. I could have very easily stuffed up the stickers of these, although I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be that way around. But you know, that's the thing. I'm really gonna have to go and check because I was quite confused during this build process. I did do it chatting on a stream, so that didn't help either. I feel like if I put a lot more focus just solely onto the building, maybe I wouldn't be so confused right now, but these stickers could be the wrong way around. I'll like put some little text on here if it is, but there are the other 2 stickers on some slope parts. Once again, easy to apply, but color variation. And then it comes to the part of the set that I cannot stand, and that is all of these arms. This is just, it's such a disappointment. Firstly, all of these arms were really hard to build. And secondly, like I said, these are so flimsy. Like these hinge joints should not be as weak and limp as they are. Like this entire arm has just fallen down as I try and move it and try and pose it and things like that. Like I can't even move it gently and try and pose it. Like it's really got to be balanced. This bit here feels so flimsy and weak. Like that is literally connected with one of these Technic pegs into another Technic kind of joint piece here, and it's connected to a dark bluish gray, one of those monkey kid hilts, which that piece is quite nice. But this entire build here, once again, it feels so weak. Also, these little parts here do come in that kind of gunmetal gray, and you get 2 bags of them in this set, so there is quite a few of those little extra pieces left over. Kind of going around, we have another arm here, which at the top is a lot more secure, but then you kind of get down to the bottom and it starts to feel really weak again. The design of this one is quite nice though, although there is a bunch of different colors, as you've kind of got like this shiny silver one, but then over here you've got the gunmetal gray type of pieces, and then of course you've got the dark bluish gray and the back and just more black. It kind of feels really kind of disjointed and connected, if you know what I mean. Heading around to the other side, we do have an arm which feels a bit more secure, and honestly this is the most secure feeling one out of the whole thing, and I think that's primarily because there's no hinge joints. It makes it so much more secure and easy, and you can kind of move it around and pose it, but it's not completely weak as I feel like the rest of them are. There is also a black round piece at the bottom, which I feel like is just, it's not stuck in there very well. You can kind of see it wobbling if you do knock it. I don't necessarily think it's going to fall off, but once again, it's just not very secure. Heading to the back as well, we do have another arm which does feel relatively secure. Once again, I think it's because there's no hinge joints besides at the bottom, although because of the weight of it, it does kind of keep sliding and tilting sideways and not really remaining straight on like I'm trying to get it to line up to now. Over here as well, I did want to point out some of these little decorations at the bottom. You do have a roller skate connected to a stud, and kind of round this side there is this binocular piece along with like sort of a lightsaber hilt, but it's not the actual lightsaber hilt piece. You guys know that piece. It's like gunmetal gray. I did not know if I've placed this correctly. I'm still worried that it is because of how flimsy it is. I'm so scared that I'm going to knock this off. It is not good. And then kind of onto the final arm we have here. Once again, it's just, It's flimsy. This set is just, it's so disappointing in that regard. Like, these arms are quite heavy as well, which I think is why these hinge joints can't kind of hold it up. It's honestly giving me like early Ideas Set Wally vibes with how weak these joints are and how they can't really hold it. Like, this to me should be able to be posed kind of here if you want. Instead, the entire thing just, it flops down. These joints aren't strong enough. It feels like they're very loose. These clips should have a lot more kind of stiffness and tightness and should be able to retain this position without completely falling down, but it's either too top heavy or just these joints and kind of clips in general aren't correctly made. I'm not entirely sure, but this it's so disappointing. And these are all held together as well with Technic joints. So at the top, these ones in particular don't feel like they're going to fall off. There are other ones that are going to fall off. In fact, I have knocked off one of these arms before, which was not great either. So it's just, this is where the set gets really let down. Look at that, like I've just accidentally pulled that off. This clip piece is so weak that I can't even kind of rotate and touch the set without it falling apart. Like, I'm really disappointed in the build of this set. I wanted to like it. I wanted to be able to put it up on display, but I can't because I can't pose this set, and it's really frustrating. Now, the base of the droid is pretty secure, but once again, I said it's not really stuck in there with studs. You can pull it out really easily and just kind of stand it on its own if you really wanted to and not have it on that base, I guess. But like, I mean, it's not gonna fall over if you don't move it, unless there's like a really big gust of wind, I feel like, or maybe you knock into a table. Then it would fall over if you did just stick it on its own. But that entire thing is held up with a Technic rod through the center of all of these transparent pieces, which, I mean, it's fine, it works. It's nothing spectacular or nothing great. It's just, there's just a lot of disappointments in this set, I think, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, you can see these arms just constantly flopping over. So the Imperial Probe Droid, look, I'm not impressed with this set. I expected this to be built a lot more better. I was hoping it would be a lot more secure. I think overall, the aesthetic and the design of the Probe Droid, it looks nice. It does look good. It looks very accurate. My favorite thing is definitely the snowy base. I love how that was done and kind of incorporated. I understand why they didn't put one of those brick-built figures in like you would typically do with droid things, because it's not really a droid set, but at the same time it is, but this droid never really been a figure. I also think it was just an interesting choice for a set in general, and personally I would have much preferred just another helmet. Like, I don't understand why this thing was made, especially since it is so weak. I don't know if it's just my set or if it's all of them in general, but all of these hinges, like, that's pathetic to me. Like, that is really disappointing to see, especially at the price of this set, which is another whole issue I have on its own. In the US, this set is less than Darth Vader. This is supposed to retail for, I believe it's $60. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But for me in Australia, if I was to go and purchase this set, so Darth Vader is 90 Australian dollars, but this one is 120 Australian dollars, which is 30 more than Darth Vader, when in every other country this set is cheaper. And I'm genuinely frustrated with this, because if I had to spend $120 on 600 or so pieces for this set with its weak arms and its like dodgy building and like things kind of cracking off all of the time and it not being overly secure, I would be so incredibly disappointed. And that's the thing, it's like, I was sent this set by land and I'm extremely grateful for that, but even then I feel very let down with the build of this model, and I'm glad that I didn't have to spend money on this set, but I cannot recommend any of you guys really going out and spending your money on this set. This is super disappointing. I think this entire top section is built well. Yes, it was very hard to do this top bit here. Yeah, there's some flimsy bits underneath, like with this ice skate and those binocular pieces that you could knock off. But overall, that entire center thing is pretty sturdy. This base even, I feel like there needs to be something over here to weigh this down a lot more, because there is so much weight on the right side that the base is lopsided, and then just the arms, it's such a disappointment. And for 120 Australian dollars, no. I can't recommend it. I think in US dollars, with all of these issues, it's still a big stretch unless you can get it on sale, or for some reason the Imperial Probe Droid is one of your favorite things that you have to have. I can't recommend this set for anyone really, especially at the price it is. For all of my Australians, I don't think you should get this set. I think save your money, put it to something else, buy another one of the helmets. There are so many other sets in this price range that I feel like piece-wise are better value, build-wise a better value, and just overall are so much better. Like, I'm really disappointed in the set, and it hurts me to say because I wanted to like it. I wanted to like the model. I think it's pretty accurate. I've just realized I've got some air bubbles on this plaque sticker. I'm definitely going to report all of this feedback as well to LEGO and LAN, and even using the feedback that is like written in the back of the instructions, because I just think the build for this set, it's very disappointing, and I am not impressed with kind of the quality of those hinge joints at all, let alone kind of the structural integrity of this build itself. And I get that this is an 18+ set, and I get that this is built for display only, but even then I'm scared to move this set without it like falling over. I feel like even if I walked into a shelf or I accidentally knocked my cupboard or something, the arms would come falling down. Like, it's just too risky for me, and I feel like your money can be better spent elsewhere than on this set. But let me know what you guys think about this set in the comments down below, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. I've reviewed the other 2 helmets in this range as well. If you haven't seen those already, be sure to check them out. And until next time guys, I'll see you later.